All right, so you know a few scales, you know some licks, you know some songs, yet it just doesn't click. You don't feel like you're really being one with the instrument. You can't really express yourself on it. I'm gonna fix that real quick. Hello, my name is David Wallerman, and I can absolutely relate to those of you who feel frustrated with the instrument because I was there for years. I started playing when I was 15, and at first, the progress was very, very slow. And when I say at first, the first 15 years of my life as a guitar player, it just didn't click. And it's because I didn't have the right approach. First things first, we need a starting idea. We're gonna take that and develop it and learn a bunch of new things in the process. Now this could be really anything, and it doesn't matter what level you're at. For me, it happened this morning. I just grabbed my instrument and started playing a few chords, and it turned into kind of a vamp, 2 different chords like that. From this idea, there are 3 different paths that we're gonna explore. They can be all blended together, but here they are. We have the theory path, we have the technique path, and we have the feeling path. We're gonna start with the theory path. It's a scary word, it doesn't have to be complicated. Theory aims to explain things that you're playing so that you can communicate with other players, and most importantly, so that you can understand what you're playing so that you can make better choices. So we have 2 chords here. This first one, which I don't know the name yet, is irrelevant, and then the second one, which is very similar. I'm only adding that note right here on the low E string 5th fret. So 2 chords. Now mentally, I'm going to blend these 2 chords. So what I'm kind of trying to visualize is a fretboard, and I'm going all the way up to the 5th fret here, a fretboard on which I have 2 superimposed chords, this first one and this next one. These 2 blended chords give you a mental, visual representation of all the notes in your chord progression. Very simple, right? Now we're gonna name these different notes. Now when I say name these notes, we're not gonna name them as E, F sharp, A. Nope, we're just gonna give them numbers. Now these numbers are very important because we will find that each number is gonna have a very unique role. It's almost like you have an army of notes, a group of people that all together are gonna work so that you have a better musical experience. Most of the time we're gonna have 7 different characters within our chord progression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These characters are gonna have different characteristics. The 1 always attracts everything else. The 2 is gonna give more definition. Now, there are 2 types of 2s. There is happy fellow type of 2 and more of a mellow 2, a tensed 2, kind of like grumpy 2. Now those are very subjective, but you will find that each of these numbers have different roles and different characteristics that you need to be comfortable with. So back to our 2 chords, we're going to consider the 1 to be the lowest note we have in our chord progression. In this case, I'm playing it with a thumb here, low E string, open string here, and that happens to be an E. That's going to be the 1. The 1 is going to attract everything else. So when I'm adding these notes here, they're attracted to that 1, that open string. Same thing when I'm playing that second chord. This second chord exists, has a meaning because you heard this one first. So it's in context of that. So we're going to consider this to be the 1. Then we're going to look at all the other notes of both chords, which really the second chord is pretty much the same except that we're adding this note. And we're going to start measuring these notes according to the 1, which is the open string here. Pause. I know that some of you are a little bit lost. That's probably because you need a primer on intervals. And for that, I highly recommend that you sign up to my free Music Theory DNA course. The link is below. Just visit guitarinfusion.com, sign up. It's completely free and you'll be up to date, and the rest of the lesson will make complete sense. Okay, back to the lesson. So we're going to take the first chord right here and we're going to measure each note. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 additional notes in addition to that root, and we're going to see what these notes are according to this note, which we'll consider the 1, the magnet. So the first note right here, 4th string, 4th fret is, if I take this an octave lower, that'll be a 2nd or a 9th, same exact thing. So that's a 2nd. The function of that note will act as a major 2nd, not the happy 2nd, not the sad, grumpy 2nd, the major 2nd. Okay, so that's the role of that particular note. So we have a 1, a 2nd, then we have this note right here on the 3rd string open, and that is a minor 3rd, and you see it within that E minor chord. So that's a minor 3rd. So far we have a 1, major 2nd, minor 3rd. Let's continue. This note right here is on the 2nd string 3rd fret. This happens to be a minor 7th. So great, so we went from the 1, major 2nd, minor 3rd, minor 2nd. Now at this point, notice that we did skip some intervals. Some are not found in there. That's okay, we might find them later, and that's because on the guitar, when you play a chord, the notes don't always appear in order. You don't always have the sequential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You might skip some notes and find them later on. Why? Just for fingering purposes. On the piano, it's easy, nice, and contained. Not always on guitar. Let's continue. The last note we have in the chord is this one right here, which is open string on the 1st string. And that's also a 1 because this note and this one, the 1st and the 6th string, if you're tuned in standard tuning, it's a 1. So on that first chord, we have a root, a 1, major 2nd, minor 3rd, and minor 7. Let's take a look at the next chord. On the next chord, we have the same exact thing, except that we are adding this note right here on the 6th string, 5th fret. Now this note, if I measure this note from the 1, this will be a perfect 4th. So really, if I combine all these together, we'll have a 1, the root, an E, a major 2nd, a minor 3rd, a 5th, and a minor 7th. That sounds like a scale, kind of, right? Or missing notes. That's completely okay. We're missing notes. Now these notes are going to be completely up to you. If they're not given to you by the chord progression, that's where you experiment. Okay, so that was my version of the theory path. Let's explore another one. We'll take a look at the technique path. So on the technique path, I'm going to start by developing some simple positions with that 1, 2, 3, 5, and minor 7 that I've extracted from these two chords. And I'm just going to kind of mess around, explore the fretboard, approach it like a game. I'll have an E here, I have another one here. Maybe you know that you have a minor 3rd right here on the 4th string, 5th fret. The 5th is right here. You kind of like play around with that until you start being more comfortable technically, and then you'll start recognizing some patterns. Minor pentatonic scale comes to mind, and we know that because within the minor pentatonic scale we have a 1, minor 3, 4, 5, minor 7. Most of the notes of that scale are found within these two chords, so that's great. And then we can start developing some ideas, combining the chords with some simple licks. And before you know it, you're working, and that's really working on technique. You're trying to stick to the rhythm. That's a technical aspect of playing. You're trying to engage your mind, visualizing these different notes, and you're basically composing also, and all that together will start to develop into something very practical and help you advance on your instrument. And it all started with a simple idea. Now, the third path is the path of feeling. And I told you at the beginning of the video that everything is really combined and blended together. Your feeling should always be engaged. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean by that you are you. And when you're playing, when you're having that experience, you should only focus on enjoying what you're doing and bringing into every single note that you're playing or notes that you're not playing your heartfelt experience. I know it sounds kind of hokey, kind of new agey, but It really does help when you have purpose behind something that you're doing. See, I could play my scale just like this. Very basic, not many emotions, but I could also play it by engaging my whole being into every single note, breathe in, and play the note. It doesn't have to be robotic. Some notes might be louder than others. You could repeat some notes. It's a very fun and fulfilling experience. Just take time to doing that and you'll see that you can really develop your musicality and unlock some things on the fretboard by just starting with a very simple idea. It could be a lick, it could be a riff. That could be the starting point of something else. Make sure you check out the free Music Theory DNA course. The link is below. Just sign up and I'll be sending you that interactive free course. And also, if you want to go a little further on the subject of developing your musicality, that is your playlist. Check this out. It's a series of videos that teach you how to play melodically. New kind of method, unconventional, but I think you'll really like it. Click on this. I'll meet you right there. Thanks for watching this. I'll see you very soon.